to welcome everyone to our 1999-2000 second half of the Winter Sports Recognition Night. I want to take a moment to thank our coaches. They put in a tremendous amount of time and effort with our athletes, and I want them to know that their dedication to Northeastern Clinton Athletic Program does not go unnoticed. I'd also like to thank Mary Rascal for typing the certificates and Kathy Devens for putting together our program. Last night and tonight, you'll recognize the students who participated in bowling, hockey, volleyball. That was last night. Tonight is cheerleading and basketball. We've had many successes this winter, and we are all proud of the athletes' accomplishments. In addition to their athletic talents, 46 of these players earned high academic honors while participating this winter. On behalf of the coaching staff, I wish the best for our seniors who have performed in these sports at Northeastern for their last time, and encourage our returning athletes to work hard so that we can continue our program of excellence in the future. Our format tonight will be for each team to assemble up front. I will introduce the athletes on the team as their coach distributes an award packet to each of them. Please hold your applause until the end of the introductions for each team. The coach will then comment on individual and team accomplishments. I ask all members of the audience to be patient and respectful of the coaches while they are speaking about their athletes and teams that they are recognizing, and I'll also ask that everyone remain in the auditorium for the full session. I'd like to call down our first team, JV Cheerleading. Shauna Flanders. Ashley Aruda. Ashley Castine. Melissa Dupe. Cassandra Etienne. Tracy Guerin. Sierra Babby. Jennifer Dupe. And their manager, Rachel Strack. She's not here. Our JV cheerleading team and their coach, Sharon Wood.
They were very cooperative in learning the basics of cheerleading. It was a pleasure being their coach, and I want to thank the girls who stuck with it and didn't quit. I wish those that are going on to varsity level the best of luck, and hope that those that aren't will come back and be with me next year. Thank you for a great year. For the most improved cheerleader, it was Melissa Dupe. For the most valuable cheerleader, it was Cassandra.
Now I'd like to ask the varsity cheerleading squad to come down. Aaron Johnson. Kristen Babiak. Trisha Bayshard. Heather Belrose. Hope Martin. Mandy Upton. Jennifer Bushy. Stephanie Goddard. Jennifer Hampton. Manager Ashley Poole. This is our varsity cheerleading squad and their coach Sarah Hunter.
Thank you everybody for being here. I'll make it short and sweet. My voice is still a little back from the girls varsity basketball games this weekend. I'd like to thank the girls for putting on 2 incredible games. It gave me the opportunity to see some incredible basketball. It was well worth the ride down there. And I'd do it tomorrow if I had to. I'd like to thank my girls. I'd like to tell them that I'm very proud of every one of them. This year was the first year in the 3 years or 4 years that I've coached that I didn't have anybody fail off for grades. My girls all maintained honor or at least passing. That's a pretty good feat on their part. I'd also like to thank them for a wonderful year. We had a great time. We did a lot of stuff. We accomplished so much. And basically, thank you. This year, instead of choosing most valuable player or most improved, I chose 2 most valuable players, 2 people that I think throughout the season gave 110%. They were always there when I needed somebody to call other people, to get messages to everybody in the school when I was sick or when a game was canceled. They were right there all the time. They were usually the first ones here before the games, and they were the last ones to leave to make sure everything was picked up. And during the games, they always showed best sportsmanship, most spirit, and most enthusiasm, regardless of what the game was actually doing. And the first one goes to Jennifer Hampton. Without a doubt was my phone tree. I called her almost every night before a game, and she made sure everybody knew that there was a game, what time the bus was going to leave, if it was an away game. She made sure that there was food for the other cheerleaders on the nights of home games. And she was definitely the #1 cheerleader. She was also a co-captain. I'd like to thank Hope Martin for a great leadership.
Although the season didn't turn out quite as we planned, we still made the most of it. We enjoyed the bus rides to away games, which often included singing and occasional dancing drives, but this year made cheering more enjoyable. This season was a little different from past seasons. This year was more relaxed, and we concentrated more on having fun than a routine competition. And since we're cheerleaders, we're easily amused. So when the Lego joke was told, we still found it funny. So coach, play with any Legos? Oh my. Never mind, we don't want to know. And we could never forget all those difficulties we had with buttoning our bodysuits and people in the uniform.
And all those times when Mr. Garrett made us do cheers inside of McDonald's, the workers can spot us in our uniforms a mile away. Thanks, Mr. Garrett, for or another, and we apologize for everything. And we want to thank the Calvin Cast Prime for tasting our games, and to all those who supported us this season, including Mr. Netto, Mr. Darren, and all those who attended our games.
That's for the next trip to Boston, when you enjoy the Legos.
Let's call down the modified A boys basketball team. Tom Babby. Corey Letourneau. Mike Ralph. Brandon Sample. Jeremy Ashline. Kevin O'Connor. Josh Davison. Josh Oliver. Danny Trombley. Garrett Woodward. Manager Tyler Bayshard. And scorekeeper Hillary Haas. Modified A boys basketball team and coach Frank Cougar.
No envelopes left in my hand, 100% turnout. This is the way this group was all year, 100%. They need a round of applause for that. Sometimes Mod A is looked at probably as a Rodney Dangerfield type deal, a little lack of respect. Some of your older people, Josie, Norm Mono, people like that, you probably remember him pretty good. We take remember. But, you know, sometimes these young athletes, the Mod A level, you know, they'll come in and say, Coach, you know, we heard today, well, it's just Mod A, and it's just a learning experience, and, you know, the score doesn't mean much. Well, you know, last year at this time, I was probably thinking ahead of being a varsity coach, and then certain circumstances worked out where I went back to Mod A, and I didn't know whether, you know, I was going to do real well at that. But after dealing with this group, you know, kind of revived me as coaching, and they step in that gym for their hour and a half or 2 hours every day. They're working just as hard as a JV crew or a varsity crew, anybody like that. And I feel like, you know, our varsity girls, and our hats are off to them, and the whole community is, even them going downstate was a learning experience. So, you know, raising those younger teams as a learning experience, well, I think that in today's competitive world, it's stepped up now a little bit. I mean, I don't preach win, 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 win. I think our coaching staff, which is excellent as far as teaching how to understand defeat. And every one of us wants us to win. And anybody who says we don't worry about the score, well, you can get in a modified A game, gets late in the fourth quarter. I did a lot of observing this year watching other teams. And it gets down to the end and it's a 4 or 6 point ball game. Everybody's looking at that scoreboard. So, you know, like I told the boys, I wanted everybody here tonight, because instead of giving a few one-liners to them, I was going to stick up for them quite a bit tonight. These Monday programs. They work real hard. You know, and sometimes a person will be driving to the basket, and, you know, 9th grade or 8th grade or 7th grade, and one into the left side, and they say, holler out, use your left hand. You know, some people are saying, well, geez, not yet. Well, in order to get to these regionals or sectionals or state games, you've got to learn to use both hands. And you can't start it in 9th and 10th grade, it's got to be at this level. And that's why my hat's off to this group right here. And, you know, I watched other modified A teams this year. And, you know, like I said, we're all out there to win, but there were many times we played other schools. You know, as we got deep into our bench, we kind of went down a little bit. We were like the David and Goliath scenario. We were the David quite often. And they would still keep, you know, probably their best going at us, and we would be subbing. So as far as that outlook from our whole program, our Mod A really works hard, and they deserve a lot of credit for it. And that's why I'm up here sticking up for them tonight. So, as a group, I was very pleased. What I would like to recognize is that our numbers were real low at the modified B level. So, I believe 5 of the boys came off a Mod A season and went and played Mod B. Now, some of these young men have been in the gym since early November, right until today was our last day. And I really appreciate that, and thank you immensely. And plus, I had 2 other boys that came on as managers, so I actually had 7 of those boys playing basketball for 4 or 5 months. And back, you know, in the old days, like in the Dave Lambert times and those times, we call them gym rats. And I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure to see some gym rats again, and it's a really appreciative thing. And it means a lot to coaching. So my hats are off to every one of you gentlemen. As far as awards go, my most improved player, I would say, is the whole group. Not because of me, because of their attitudes and their 100% that they gave all the time, just like being here tonight. And I told them one thing in this area, probably Northeastern has probably the best fans you'd ever want. I said, you may not be winning a lot of ball games, but if they see you on the floor giving 110%, there's not a person in this whole community that's not going to support you. And they took that and ran with it. And I think that's a good quality. Most valuable player, I had 2 of them. And these 2 guys are gym rats. Kevin O'Connor and Jeremy Ashland. We were small, so I had to kind of teach that a lot of one-on-one basketball and take your man to the hole, and maybe we can live off the foul line and steal a few points. So we shot a lot of foul shots, and I said, well, I'll keep track of the last 200, and I kept track of the last 225 each man took. And I said, I'll give the guy with the highest amount, you know, a little something. And they kept asking and asking. And I said, well, I'll do it at the proper time, the night of the awards. Kevin O'Connor had 171 out of 225. Kevin. I had a very dependable manager and a very dependable scorekeeper, Hillary Hawksby and Tyler Bayshard. And just to end up with a few thank yous. Again, I'm going to butter up a little bit here. It's my 2nd season now with Mrs. Gilroy, and she's done a remarkable job. Not being in the building, communications are real good. And she's even gotten Rocket Rivard checking his mailbox every day, and I never thought that would happen. I'd like to thank Orville, very supportive. I'd like to thank Rob Guerin. Rob Guerin's put a lot of time into this program. He has a nice JV club. He's really trying to push the program at the lower level. He's gone after a nice group of 6th graders who have just come off 2 weekends of tournament victories. I believe they won the Morris tournament. What was the other tournament? JZ tournament. So that's pretty good for a group that's they're excellent hockey players, and I would never steer anybody from one sport to the other. So boys, I'll just play basketball. Anyway, and I'd like to thank my wife especially for being so supportive of me as all times. I'm doing the favorite thing I love to do with the coach. She's been so supportive. And again, thank you everyone.
Hello. This season has been fairly successful for us. We had our ups and downs, but other than that, it was alright. Mr. Newman and us, we had a great time. Such as our last practice. The whole time we played knockout, and whoever won, he gave us $1. Can't ever top that. It's much better. We'd like to thank our managers, Mr. Duas, Mr. and Mrs. Castine, Mrs. Gilroy, and for you, Mr. Duas, and our managers, we have some presents for you. And all of us, we love Mr. Newman.
Yes, we do.
Glad to hear your season was all right, Frank. Thanks for pointing out my mistake. And now I'd like to call down the JV boys basketball team.
I've got to see my face.
Joe Cross. Ryan Delaney. Kenny Dubuque. Matt Garrett. Chris Castine. Mike Castine. Good morning. Ben Doody. Jared Jarvis. Brad Miller. And Casey Richard. The boys JV basketball team and their coach Ron Barron.
This year's junior varsity basketball team had a wonderful season. The team consisted of 5 sophomores and 6 freshmen, with each one of them exhibiting the potential of being a strong contender for a CBA championship down the road. During the beginning of the season, our goal was to be competitive while maintaining a positive attitude. The last 2 weeks of the season is what impressed me the most with this team. When after losing our point guard and falling short a few games, the athletes never lost focus of their desire to be successful. We completed the CBAC season with a 10-6 record and an overall record of 12 wins and 7 losses. The athletes standing before you tonight enjoyed a second-place finish in Division I. At this time, I'd like to briefly recognize each outstanding athlete on this year's boys JV squad. Sophomores, Matt Guerin is a real hard worker. Matt, when left open, can drain a shot from just about anywhere on the court. Ryan Delaney improved tremendously throughout the year. Ryan's quickness really helps create a fast-paced game. Kenny Dubuque was a big force on this year's team. Kenny's rebounding offensively as well as defensively contributed to many of our victories this year. Joe Cross at the beginning of the season did not get a lot of minutes in the game. However, his speed and aggressiveness is what allowed Joe to earn a starting position midway through the season. At the beginning of the season, Joe averaged approximately 4 points a game. During the second part, Joe almost regularly reached double figures. Joe continuously thrives to improve his game plan. For all of the above reasons, I would like to present my Most Improved Player Award to Joe Cross. I wish all of our sophomores the best of luck as they approach their varsity careers. I have had a great time working with all of you. Freshman, Jared Jarvis brought a lot of speed to this year's team. Jared is a very smart player, unless he's inbounding the ball. He has a tendency to throw almost every single time to the opposite team. Then he takes a quick breather. And can be very deadly when left open. Chris Castine is one of the best shooters that I've ever coached. Chris also has an excellent eye for the court and can sneak a pass to any defender to find the open player. Brad Miller, for being a small player, can be really effective. Brad has a wonderful shot and works very hard to improve certain areas of his game. Brad truly thinks the game when out on the court. Mike Castine was a big help to this year's team. Mike is a real force when it comes to attacking the boards. Mike will continue to benefit other squads at Northeastern because of his aggressiveness and school spirit. Casey Richard also brought a lot of speed to the team. Casey's shooting has improved dramatically. I have high hopes for Casey being a key player on next year's team. Ben Duty had a great season despite being sidelined for most of the season because of a health condition. Ben will also be a big factor to the success of future teams. All of these athletes are valuable to the team's success. I encourage you to attend camps or participate in summer leagues to work on certain areas of your game. Once again, you continuously need to have the desire to reach your goals and meet your expectations. I would like to acknowledge our boys varsity team on a wonderful showing in the first game of the playoffs against Ticonderoga. To be in the game right up to the end with one of the top teams in the league only shows others that you never gave up and always maintained focus. You did an outstanding job representing your school. I would also like to congratulate the Lady Cougars on a remarkable season that almost every young athlete only gets a chance to dream about. What pleases us, this school district even more than probably a championship, is earning the Sportsmanship Award, which really shows the true class that NCCS exhibits by its players, coaches, as well as the fans. Once again, I would like to congratulate my team on a wonderful season, and I look forward to working with many of you again next year. And I like to throw in this little brief that you hear me say year after year, but it's getting to the point, it's getting needed to be said. If any of you, seniors, juniors, whatever, we need you for the foundation of our boys program. Our younger levels, the numbers just, they're there. We need people to step forward and help out. And then hopefully we'll see our boys program pick up. We can all put in our work together. Thank you.
My voice might be a little, gone because I got a little crazy at the girls' game. Well, I'd like to thank Coach Rob, Mr. Guerin, for doing a good job his first year. 12-7 record, I think is pretty good, because the last 2 of your teams only combined for 5 wins last 2 years. Don't know why. Oh, it's not you, Mr. Dumas. No, I'd like to thank Mr. Netto for helping us out in practice, and Mr. Dumas, he was always there to make us run, work hard. And every player on this team worked hard, even if they didn't play, they still worked hard. And, well, that's all I have to say, because I can't think of anything else. Thank you. And we got a little present, Coach Rob.
Even in heels, they don't come close to that. Our boys varsity basketball team. Ryan Akel. Andrew Caston. Jeremy Davison. Steve Diesel. Sean Gagnon. James Keogh. Joe LaRose. Eric Miller. Matt Pocket. And our 4 young men that moved up during the varsity at the end of the season for the playoffs, and that's Joe Cross, Ryan Delaney, Matt Guerin, and Mike Castine. And also their scorekeepers were Ryan Delaney and Chris Castine. And that's the varsity basketball team and Coach Nettle.
After listening to Robbie for a few minutes, you can tell someday he's going to be a principal.
Going for it.
First of all, I'd like to thank Josie Gilroy. It's been a great season. She's a very organized person and knew exactly what we're going to do. I was saying to some people, I kept thinking, what does Josie remind me of? And I kept thinking and thinking, and finally hit me. 1971, Fort Leonard, Missouri, my drill sergeant. The varsity girls, can't say enough. They made the whole community proud, not just the school, but everyone. Andy, Norm, Ron, deserve a lot of credit. Cheerleaders, Sarah, you were there all year. We needed this year. You were very good. You were excellent also cheering at McDonald's and stuff. You were on there at the time. You did a good job. I want to thank Rob, junior varsity, and especially want to thank Frank for taking the time and doing the job and staying with the basketball program. He took a very big person to be a coach. Also want to thank the person that volunteered all year. She doesn't even have a son anymore in the basketball program. She kept the shot clock for us, and that was in Kopiak. I want to thank my 2 scorekeepers, Ryan and Chris. And I have a little present for each of you guys. And finally, I guess, I want to thank the young boys. I really mean it. case you haven't heard, we didn't make it to the Final Four. What I have and experienced this year, I think is very rewarding year. I had a bunch of boys that played hard, that progressed, that worked hard, and they also took some of the defeats in good stride, because I've never have been disappointed with any one of my players. But I do say this year, and I say it for the first time, I might have been a little disappointed with some other coaches. No team should have to be losing by 50 points and still see a team pressing. And I think my boys were able to handle this stuff, but it shouldn't be happening in high school basketball. I also would like to say that I think we learned a lot. Winning is something, but also losing is part of life. And I think they have learned from this that we have to keep going on just like life, and you get better and you work hard. The case in point was when we played Ticonderoga at the beginning of the season, we lost by 40 points in them at Ticonderoga. We met them in sectionals, and they had a hard time to beat us by 12. I'm looking forward to next year. We have everybody returning except for one player. And I have a nice group of junior varsity boys that came up and helped in sectionals. And I think if everybody would work together, we're going to try to get the facilities open every Wednesday night in June, July, and early August. We're going to try to be playing some games at NAC and Malone and Chateaugay and Saranac Lake on Sundays at NAC. If we do all these things, work hard, we'll be all right next year. At this time, I just want to say one more time and mention their names because I just don't want to go into averages or anything else. These are nice boys that kept the program going. Ryan Aintill, Andrew Castine, Jeremy Davison, Steve Diesel, Sean Gallo, James Keogh, Joel Rose, Eric Miller, and Matt Paquette. They could have quit any time, didn't do it, hung in there. I'm very proud of this. But I'm proud of all the guys. One of them, when he really wasn't falling on the floor and had his A game going any given night, he was really becoming a ball player. If he becomes, according to the father, half as good as his father, he's going to be a good ball player. Anyway, Sean Guy. Another person that really brought his game together, that started out scoring hardly any points, and became a central part of our team and a very go-to guy. And I think he will even have a chance of being an all-star next year. He's most improved also is Andrew Castine. Most valuable players, one player that I think really plays the game 100%, a great defensive ball player. I really feel deserves a lot of recognition. Been on my team for 2 years, and I think we'll have a great year next year. We'll be a leader. Most valuable player, James Keogh. Next person, according to him, is a living legend. He had played 4 years. Only one or two players, I think, in the history of Northeastern played 4 years of varsity basketball. The other was Scott Morelli. He has seen everything from a freshman getting recognition in the paper with him and Matt Arnold doing a between-the-leg pass and then receiving and making a layup in Lake Placid when we had a big tournament up there and everybody thought that was great. He's been on a division winning title team. He's been on a sectional winning title team. And he's been a leader for our team. He stuck with it. He easily could have said the heck with it. He's a good basketball player, 700 and some points in his career. Treat him as a friend, a hard worker, and I'm glad you stuck it out for 4 years. Ron Mankler.
We'd just like to start off thanking a couple people. First, the fans who supported us, especially the cheerleaders who supported us throughout the whole year. They didn't give up on us, and we appreciate their loyalty and hard work they put into their cheering. Most importantly, we'd like to thank Coach Netto. We're glad that he decided to come back this year. We're glad that he made a commitment to this team. We know it's tough coming back after doing so well, like the team did last year. I'm sure Coach knew the task that was before him, and he decided to take it. We are deeply grateful to him for that. We're also glad that he made a commitment to us and to this team for the next year and a few after that. The program can only go in the right direction when you have a coach that is ready to make sacrifice and ready to plod through the rough times. This year, it wasn't easy doing either, but the people up here tonight made it through, and next year we'll have the strength and character to accomplish much. You know, it's pretty interesting. If you look at a hurricane, it goes in cycles. It starts off with a great blast of energy. Then there is a calm in the middle of the eye. And lastly, the most dangerous part, the backside of the storm. Probably wondering what a hurricane has to do with basketball. On the surface, not much. But I believe our team is like that hurricane. Last year we had lots of energy, we won lots of games and won the section. This year was a little more calm. We weren't spectacular and we didn't win as much. But this is only the calm before the storm, because next year is the year when we will become dangerous.
Now I'd like to ask the girls modified A basketball team to come down. Courtney Johnson. Emily LaFountain. Lori Babby. Stephanie Bayshard. Christy Boas. Megan Boris. Kaylee Guerin. Chris Kissel. Amber LaValle. Megan Sorrell. Sierra Ben. Brittany Jarvis. Nicole Perry. Manager Aaron Connor. And Manager Casey Lambert. Our girls modified A basketball team and their coach Dave Lambert.
I'll try to go through this as quick as I can, because as old as I am, I'm going to be throwing dirt on it. So you're right. Thank you all for nice comments, Frank. Standing over there is the 1999-2000 Modified A girls basketball team. The future of Northeastern Clinton's girls basketball. Pretty scary thought, isn't it? Well, let's just think about that for just a second. Each year as coaches, we strive to improve our team from the beginning of the year to the end. At the modified level, this is certainly our main goal. Seton Catholic for many years now has had a very strong modified program. When I looked at our schedule this year, I saw that we played Seton on the second to last game of the year. So I told my girls that we'd use this game as our final exam. We would practice all parts of our game throughout the year in preparation for our final exam. As the practices began, I could see we need plenty of work. Some girls are pretty strong on offense, but we struggle on defense. The other girls were the exact opposite. With the help of the other coaches and myself, we put together a plan to help all the girls improve in all parts of the game. Quite often during the year, the girls come up to me and say, Miss Lambert, I can't do this, and I can't do that. And after a while, I got pretty sick of those two words. So I told him, instead of saying that, let's just try saying, I'll try. Gradually, the girls started shooting a little bit better. Their defense got a lot better. And most of the time, I liked their attitude. By all means, we weren't ready for the WNBA, sorry. But I could see a light at the end of the tunnel. We had a lot of games this year where they weren't very close at all. And it was very hard to keep the girls' intensity and focus into those games. We did, however, have a few very good tests this year. Down at PHS, it was very close and exciting game right to the end. At Saranac, we went into overtime. Very exciting again. These two games, the girls gained so much experience. And after these two games, I think, well, we're about ready for everyone to be for our final exam. Seaton came to our home gym that night. I looked at all the girls and they were all nervous. Some were shaking. But I was glad to see that because I knew their heart was into the game. Then the game began and I saw what I've been looking for all year long. I saw the girls playing with intensity. I saw the girls playing with emotion. They were diving for loose balls. They would think before they passed. They helped pick up on defense. And most of all, we played as a team. We battled back and forth 4 quarters. We ended up losing by only 6 points to a very strong Seaton team. Nobody ever said you needed 100 points to pass the test. On this night, we didn't win the game, but we certainly passed the test. Standing over there is the 1999-2000 Girls Modified A basketball team. The future of Northeastern basketball. Pretty scary thought? I don't think so at all. I think if we continue to work hard, the future of NCCS basketball is going to be in good hands. Now, my most improved player, my most valuable player. First, most improved. Lori Batley, take one step forward, please. Just so they see you instead of looking at me all night. Each year, there are about 35 to 40 girls that go up for tryouts. There is no easy way to cut 20 to 25 girls from a team. The first 15 or 20 are hard enough. When I get down to the last 5 or 6, it's extremely difficult. Last year, Lori was the last girl I cut. As hard as it was for me, it must have been even twice as hard for Lori. She had 2 choices now. She could just say, to heck with it, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go play something else. Or she could come back and play Modified B and try out again next year. Well, I'm certainly glad she chose to stay with the program. From the first day of practice to the last, she showed improvement. She played excellent defense, and her offense improved each and every game. And for all your hard work, Lori, you have earned the most improved player. I narrowed my MVP choices down to 3 girls, but I couldn't decide on just one of them. So I said, heck with it, I gave them all 3. Steph Bayshard, step forward, please. Take a step so I can see that pretty little face. Steph is a girl who plays with a lot of emotion. She's very dedicated to the game and always gives 100%. When I ask Steph to try and do something, she doesn't always do it right, but you can bet she will try. I'm sure that Steph will continue her hard work, and in the years to come, be a valuable player for years to come. Steph, thank you. Kaylee Guerin, take a step forward, please. Kaylee is a second-year player for me. She too was a player that came very close to not making the team last year. Well, there were a few things I saw that really impressed me. Watch out, look. She has an excellent outside shot, and she rebounds very well. Kaylee has a bit of a mean streak in her, but I like to see that at times. Not all the time, but sometimes I do. I'm sure she'll continue to improve, and she'll be help our program in the future. Kaylee. Brittany Jarvis, take a step forward, please. Close enough. Every once in a while, you see a special kind of player that comes along. Brittany is that kind of player that every coach would love to have. She is very skilled at her age for almost all aspects of the game. Her attitude is very positive. She handles the ball very well and was my most productive player offensively. I'd love to have Brittany back for next year, but I think Mr. Rivard might have plans for you. Good luck, Britt. Brittany's back. I'd like to thank my managers, Aaron Connor and Casey Lambert, for all your hard work throughout the year. I have a little something for you. I'd like to say thanks to my wife Lisa for all the help and support you give me throughout the years. Mrs. Gilroy, thank you for all your patience and understanding. I know sometimes I'm a pain, but we deal with that. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Ron Rivard and thank you for all your help. You had a very successful year this year. And parents, to all my parents of the girls, your support has been great this year. I mean, it's truly are. You come to all the games, almost every game, every parent was there just about. I truly appreciate it. And finally, a special thank you to Mr. Andy Landry and Norm Bono and the girls varsity basketball team. You have taken this whole community through a truly remarkable season. You have exemplified the meaning of the word team and have been a wonderful role model to all younger players. Thank you for a wonderful season. We're all extremely proud of each and every one of you. And thank you to all the fans this past weekend who went down to Troy. Mike Castine and John Burke, good job. And it was a truly exciting weekend. It was unbelievable. Thank you very much.
This year was a great year. In the beginning, it was a little rocky. No one really expected us to win, but guess what? We did. All except for one, which I'm sure if we could play that game one more time, we'd beat them. I'm going to say something that I'm sure will be heard and has been heard all night. Congratulations to the girls varsity team. It was a real inspiration to watch you guys go as far as you did. You guys deserve everything you got. Well, now that I've said that, Coach, it was a great year. Thank you for putting up with us. Sometimes, well, most of the time, you were frustrated. Most of the time, you handled it pretty well. Sorry, I lost my place. I would like to thank Calvin for taping some of our games, which cable doesn't run up my road, so I can't get it, but that's okay. One last thing to Coach, if you win anything in your gifts, you have to split 50% of the profit with the team. We decided that. And thank you all for your time. Oh, and thank you, Casey and Aaron.
Now the girls' JV basketball team. Emma Foley. Hillary Vesrell. Erin Darren. Jenna Lombard. Chelsea Cameron. Bobby Dooley. Dana Langboys. Brittany Phillips. Tisha Supra. Abby Lambert. Manager Betsy Macy. Scorekeeper Quinn Babby. Our girls JV basketball team and coach Ron Rivard.
Thank you. And again, if you would give applause for the girls. The JV basketball team had a very successful season. The team major objectives were to be competitive, focus on team play throughout the entire season, and maintain a winning attitude. The team overall record was 17-3. The CBAC record was 13-3, tied in first place with PHS. We lost 3 games, 2 by 1 point, and the other game by 3. We averaged 46 points per game. Our opponents averaged 23 points per game. These young lady athletes are hardworking, unselfish players that challenge each other to their capabilities. This team played with a total team effort. In 99% of our games, we were playing man-to-man full court. Believe me when I say these girls worked hard. Each game was played with the intensity and played with attitude to win. This group maintained a positive attitude, the confidence and respect that means so much in having a successful season. Referees and fans from other teams would comment on the skill of this team, the way they ran the floor, and their defense ability, in which these girls and their coach took a lot of pride in. There was times where I thought the teams were gaining momentum. We were playing man-to-man defense, and I would call a timeout and say, girls, we got to go zone. This is happening on the court. You're not playing uptight on your man. They're getting by you. They're going to the basket. And the girls just would refuse to play a zone defense. They said, stay with man-to-man. And we did. And they played very well, and I'm very proud of you girls. Now I got to find my place.
Your glasses on.
I don't need them, Craig. I thank you, my team, for a successful season and an enjoyable one. You had the potential in maintaining the winning tradition at NCCS. But to get to the Final Four, again, isn't going to be easy. It's going to take teamwork, sacrifices, and total support in working with your basketball coaches. 5 sophomores will be moving up to the varsity level, and I will have 5 back next year. And I wish my sophomores all the luck, and if you work hard, things I'm sure are going to work out at the varsity level. And I can't wait for the other 5 for next year, because they love me so much. We get along so well. But I am very proud, and I can't. With the modified A girls that will be moving up, and with the remainder of the 5 back, I think we're going to have one super JV team next year. So again, thank you very much. I'd like to move on to the most improved and the MVP awards. The most improved award this year goes to Brittany Phillips. Brittany, would you step forward, please? Brittany worked very hard improving her fundamental skills in basketball. Her passing, shooting, ability in taking the ball to the basket, her defensive play improved throughout the season. She gave 100% in practicing on her weaknesses. Brittany's confidence got stronger as the season went on. She never demonstrated a negative attitude for lack of ability, but rather a positive enforcement of bettering oneself. Brittany gave her team a total effort. We started back first day of practice, it might have been the second day of practice. And I barked a little bit when we were in practice to get the tempo going to get the intensity of the game on the court during practice, so it's like game situation. Well, on our first break, I'm walking over and the girls are getting ready to go out and get a drink of water and everything, and I happen to go by Brittany and tears are coming down her eye, coming out of the eyes and stuff. And I go, "Britt, you okay?" She says, yeah. So I go over to some other girls and I says, "What's going on here?" And I think it was Jen. She says, "Oh, Coach, she's just not used to you yet." So after I went up to, after she came back in, I went up to Brittany and I said, "Brittany, this is the first day of practice." I said, "I can't go through this every practice. So please, just listen to my part, but don't get nervous about it." So, and she did. She came a long ways. And Brittany, because of your efforts and team support, I award you the most improved. Frankie, I gotta find my place. Bear with me. The MVP award, my choice was two girls. They go to Bobby Gooley and Hillary Desereau. Step forward. Both these girls possess the qualities of a good leader. They demonstrated a positive attitude throughout the season, never made excuses, gave 100% in practice as well as games. Their dedication, desire to improve, unselfish teamwork, their offensive defensive abilities, and overall concern for their team won them this award. Bobby and Hillary will be a great addition to the varsity squad next year. It gives me great pleasure in awarding the MVP awards to Bobby and Hillary. Okay, we had two managers, Betsy Macy and Quinn Babby, who did an outstanding job, very supportive to the team and the coaching staff. And I have a little thank you for you also. But also thank Casey Lambert, who's always around the bench at games, who is very helpful in assisting the managers. And it's just great to see. Frankie mentions gym rats, but let me tell you, it's nice to have them on the side during games. And we always encourage the younger girls to hang around the team so they can get the feel of what goes on and be part of everything. And Casey, thank you very much. Some thank yous, of course, to the coaching staff, Andy and Norm. We're so proud of you and the girls. Thanks again. You had a super season, and we appreciated all the assistance you gave us throughout the season. Dave, again, it's a good working with you. You got to come up here and give Frankie a more jabs on when you come up here, or you can't get the best of you. You know, I noticed you didn't talk about the Altona teams way back, but you were being nice. And of course, I would like to thank Bernie Cannon, who I always say my assistant, who's always there. I tell you, he loves you girls. I don't care what level we talk about, if it's Mod B, if it's Mod A, JV, or varsity, that man just loves being part of your program. So, you know, on behalf of myself, and I hope that you as well, when you see him, thank him. He loves you. Mrs. Gilroy, the AD, she's doing an excellent job. She's always there for our assistance if we need it. She's there for our support, and she's doing an excellent job. Josie, thank you. The parents, for your support, and of course the patience for the late practices and the kind words. And again, thank you, the fans and the community. I've been out in the community. I had softball meetings just this past Monday, and it's just unbelievable the people who were down there from this area, not only Champlain, Ross's Point, or our school district area, but from Plattsburgh on. And you have everyone up here excited, representing our section so well, and everyone around the area, if I may say, are very, very proud of you. Mr. Musso, the faculty and the student body, the Booster Club, who's always supporting our athletic programs here. Many, many thanks. Calvin for being there for the children, the 24. I almost said 21, but it's 24 now. And personal thanks to Sue and Mark with HR. Thank you very much for that scrapbook. It's beautiful, and I will cherish it. Thank you. And of course, the big thank you goes out to our varsity lady Cougars. What fun this season has been. The memories we will have for a long, long time. Several of you came up through the program, went through the JV level with me, and it's very pleasing, it's very rewarding to see the success that you have received. And again, thank you for letting us be part of it. Thank you very much.
First, we'd like to start off by thanking Mr. Abad for all his time and dedication to our team. He spent a lot of time and patience, well, maybe his time, but he helped shape us into players who will be successful on varsity level. As a team, we had to overcome many obstacles, like sickness, grades, and injuries. Mr. Abad had a little injury of his own. He had a trick tubes. Every once in a while, when he yells, his tooth falls out onto the floor. He casually just picks it up and puts it in his pocket, but we caught on to that after a while. Another one of Mr. Abad's malfunctions is spit. If he comes close to you, make sure you have a loving shield. Oh yeah, every once in a while, there were clipboards flying around the locker room. We don't know where that came from. We also would like to thank Mr. Canning, Mr. Bono, and Mr. Landry for helping us become a better team. We'd like to congratulate our varsity girls for setting a goal for us young players. They brought women's basketball at this school to a whole new level. Thank you, girls. We'd like to thank our managers, Betsy and Quinn. Betsy, thanks for blocking out Mr. Vartielli. Happy birthday, Betsy. We'd like to thank Calvin for keeping our games and our parents for running us to practice and going to our games. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Debbie Trombley to come down front, please. In each sports season, the CVAC All-Academic Award is presented to two senior athletes in recognition of their contribution to and achievement in sport, as well as their success in academics. And in this year, the winter season of 2000, I presented last night the award to Robbie Gagno from our bowling team, and tonight it goes to Debbie Trombley from our basketball team.
Mr. Bono please come up front?
Before we continue with the awards, I'd like to make a few comments about this team. By now, everyone knows what happened this past weekend, and in fact, I think at least half of the North Country was at the game in Hudson Valley Community College. I was very proud to be a spectator at such an exciting event. The determination and teamwork displayed by these girls at the state championship was incredible. Northeastern Clinton and Section 7 were well represented, not only by a great high school basketball team, but by a team with a lot of class. It starts at the top, and head coach Andy Landry and his assistant Norm Bono deserve a lot of credit. They're dedicated, hardworking coaches, and they're classy guys themselves. And all of that is rubbed off on their players. The sportsmanship award they received was truly icing on the cake. Mike Castine inspired the crowd, and our fans were unbelievable. As interim athletic director, I want to say thank you to Mr. Landry, Mr. Bono, and the girls varsity basketball team for bringing together our school and community for such an electrifying championship run. Thank you. Special recognition goes to 9 members of the girls basketball team who achieved the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Team Award. To receive this award, the student must be an eligible varsity competitor whose grade average is used to determine the team composite grade average of 90% or greater, and additional students who have a grade average of 90% or greater. And I would like to ask them just to step forward as I call their names. The members of this team earning this award are Haley Desero, Ashley Walker, Amanda Clark, Debbie Trombley, Ashley Burks, Heather Barron, Randy Bowman, Miranda Paris, and Mel Elwendus. Now I'll officially introduce the whole team. Amanda Clark. Haley Desero. Debbie Trombley. Ashley Walter. Ashley Burks. Randy Bowman. Amal Elgwendu. Heather Barron. Eric McDonald. Miranda Paris. Jess Gordon. Moving up from JV to varsity, Bobby Gooley. All our own certificates are in our JV packet. Manager Betsy Macy. Manager Casey Lambert. basketball team and their coach, Andy Lehman.
Please, sir. Head swell too much. I still enjoy saying it. New York State, Class C, second place. I'd like to thank some of the people that are involved in making everything go smoothly this season. First of all, going back to the elementary coaches to help develop these girls, along with the coaching staff here, Mr. Lambert, Mr. Bard, Ernie Canny, Donna Dragoon, who's BSEC, taking care of the clock, Bob Desero, doing our stats all year. Special thanks to the fans, and who have been great all year, but just phenomenal this weekend. Parents who are so supportive. I always ride the bus home alone. Got all the parents at every game, and it's really a great thing to see. I'd like to thank Mary Rasco for doing all the typing of the certificates, and then for this past weekend chaperoning the trip, and also for planning a dinner for next week. She's been tremendous for us. Special thanks goes out to my friend, and a true friend of all the girls in this team, Mr. Bonham. Get them to realize their potential. Every one of these girls is richer today for having the opportunity to work with Mr. Bonham. I can't imagine us getting as far as we did without him. Here we are at the conclusion of a great year, the most successful year ever for girls basketball at NCCS. And that in itself is quite a statement. Think about the girls' basketball teams we've had here for the last 20 years. Why this year? Why were we able to get to that extra step this year? Well, maybe we got a break here and there. You need some breaks. But I contribute a lot of it to just the mental toughness and the teamwork demonstrated by this team. Everyone on the team contributed. Whether it was Heather supporting the team from the bench, Mal leading the cheers in the bus, Bobby coming up to the varsity and giving us another body for practice, especially after Brandy broke her arm. Erin doing her best in practice to try to guard Debbie or Miranda. We got great contributions from Bertzi and Jess off the bench. These two girls should be a big part of next year's team. We got great inspiration by Brandy Bowman. She broke her arm against Sable. 8 o'clock the next morning, she was at practice. She hasn't missed one since, except for one day she had a doctor's appointment. Even though she knew her season was over and she wouldn't be playing anymore, she came to every one. I hope I can talk to her parents, though, and trying to get her, beat her a little more this summer. She's going to have to replace Debbie in the middle next year. We're going to have to bulk her up just a little bit. All right. I'd like to say a few words about this year's starters. Early in the year, we got to play everybody pretty much every game. Actually, through the whole season, everybody got to play at least a little bit each game. But when you get down to the playoffs and things get tough, you want to try to keep your best people on the floor as much as possible. And towards the end, we kind of had an iron 5, played most of the game. Miranda, in her third year of varsity, this year she struggled a little bit with her shooting, but that's the only area she struggled in. She led the team in rebounding, steals, and blocked shots. Back to one of our defense and started our break with her defensive rebounds. In Saturday's semifinal against Dobbs Ferry, we got the ball back with 6 seconds left in the third quarter. We're trailing by 3. Miranda made a sharp cut to the basket, came back out to get the ball from Ashley, turned and sank a 3-pointer, tie the game. One of the biggest shots I've ever seen in basketball. The crowd went wild, and that 4 other team was just demoralized. Their 12-point lead had dwindled to nothing, and a matter of minutes. Great, great shot, great experience. Haley Desereau should be an inspiration for some of you younger girls. Last year, she didn't get a lot of playing time. The beginning of this year was a question mark. I had no idea who my fifth starter was going to be. Through hard work, she made herself a spot. And by the postseason, I hated to take her out of the game. The 2 3-pointers she made against Dobbs Ferry were crucial. They gave us the momentum we needed when our backs were against the wall. They helped us win that game and get to the Sunday game. Amanda Clark led the team in scoring and in field goal percentage this year. She established herself as a dominant player. She made the CBAC All-Star team this past weekend. She made the Final Four All-Tournament team. She was fun to watch with her intense defense, the speed of the break, and her 360 spin layups. Ashley Walter has led this team with her desire and her constant focus. She gave many the point guard in the league nightmares with her intense defense. She made all her teammates look good with her great passes and unselfish play. Oftentimes she could have gone in for the layup herself. Instead, she passed it to a teammate. Debbie Trombley has been in the varsity for 4 years. Hasn't stopped talking once. Somehow, despite that, she scored 835 points. Been a team leader on defense, rebounding, and in running the fast break. She can get the rebound at one end and be at the other end in time to make the layup. I've known all these girls since they were in 7th grade. I knew we had something special when these seniors were in 8th grade. And I entered the Mod A team that year, which was composed of 7th and 8th graders, in the Seton Summer League. And they did very well that summer, competing against all the other high school teams. Since these girls have been in high school, we've only lost 3 league games. We've won the CBAC, Section 7 Crown, Section 10th Regional each year. And this year, our achievement made it to the Final Four. It finally hit me when the announcer was introducing the teams last Saturday. And I really started to get emotional. It finally hit me where we were, and how far they've gone. Only one other team in the history of the CBAC has ever made it to the Final Four. They lost in the first round. So our accomplishments this year superseded anything that anyone in the CBAC has ever done. We've been through a lot together. 2 years ago, we lost in the regional by 2 points. Last year, 3 years ago, excuse me. Last year, we lost in the regional final by 5 points. We've been through all kinds of things together. We've been through budget-breaking team meals, Cherry Knoll, Butcher Block, Ponderosa, Denny's, order outs from local restaurants, and of course Applebee's with Buck Bruce. We've been through thousands of jump ropes together, defensive slides, miles of athletic tape, countless buckets of ice. Through it all, we've established friendships and memories. Okay, I'd like to introduce most improved players. I have 2 of them this year. One of them could have been an MVP, but she wasn't even a starter last year. The fact that she made all-star recognition this year made me want to give her the most improved. Amanda Clark. MVPs this year, Brandon Paris, Debbie Trombley, and Ashley Wall. Thank you, girls, for letting me be part of the ride.
We just have a few people to thank. First of all, Mr. Castine for taping almost, well, I'd say all our games, seeing us on TV, letting people know we saw your game, and even those same areas, hometown memories of sixth graders out on the court. That was really nice. Mr. Misek and Mrs. Dragoon for doing the clock each game. Amy Babby for singing wonderfully before our games. That was really nice. Got us motivated to play well. Brandy Kissel for always that last minute candy before the game. That got us moving really fast in the court. We appreciate it. Mike Castine. Everyone knows what a great job he's done for us. No one else could get us motivated without you. There's really, our words aren't even describe how grateful we are to you for getting everyone this past weekend motivated and encouraging us to do well. We really appreciate it. Mrs. Trombley for organizing all the flowers for senior night, making that a really special night for us. Mr. and Mrs. Bayshard, they made us scrapbooks. They gave to us this year, actually today, I'm sorry, of all the games this year, all the cutouts from each article in the paper. And it's really nice touch to end the season when you receive that. It's really touching. For Liz for doing our books, each game riding the buses. It's really grateful. Kenny Nate. Despite his theory that girls are never right, despite his choice of halftime music, despite his call for a middle seat in my car, which was always between Miranda and Brandy. Truly, deep down, he's a great guy. We all love him. Each practice, he was there. Each game, he made it. Sometimes we had to pick him up on the way because someone forgot him, but we really appreciate it, Nate. We have a little something for you. Next, our student council. The day we left, last Friday, they had a pep rally. And they had the whole school in there, teachers, administrators, and it got us really motivated for the upcoming weekend. Especially Jeb Asaf and James Keogh for organizing it. And here we also learned how great shooting form our coaches had. 3-point contest? Yeah, but it wasn't good enough because our team, some of the players on our team still beat them in the 2-point contest, but it's okay. We want to thank our coaches throughout elementary, junior high, Mr. Powers, Mr. Lambert, Mr. Rivard, Mr. Cannon, and of course our coaches. All these coaches started us at a young age to build us up where we are right now, made us make it to the Final Four. There couldn't have been anyone there to lead us that way. Our own coaches. Okay. Mr. Lange, who we never knew had that real mean side of him until our last game when we couldn't get him away from that ref. He was just right in his face, and we really first saw that true mean side of him. Mr. Buno, we finally learned about his tanning secret. Oh, and his thoughtfulness to leave the keys in his car. If anyone ever needs to move that green car, go right ahead. The keys are usually in it. And ask Ashley about it, because sometimes, she took it for a little drive through the parking lot. Oh, we gotta thank him for those extra jump ropes and three-man weave. We love those, definitely. Each day, we love doing those. But really, their time and effort, their support is unremarkable. We would have not been here without them. Their extra support really made us who we really are today.
They deserve all the credit for the Final Four this past weekend. We get out there and we play, but we play because of them. And we really are truly grateful to you guys. Okay, now to some funny moments. This team has to be one of the closest teams I know I've ever played on. Each one of us seniors know we've ever played on. From the first day, we became a real close family. We had many dinners together, even playing spoons once in a while before a game. Sleepovers, Jess Poyer's, thank you Mrs. Poyer for giving us that extra food, extra blankets, extra pillows, just extra hours of sleep. And those occasional dances, we all had a good time. Then we can't forget a time before our big Section 7-10 game where we had a problem with one of our starters, key player. She was caught between the back seat and the bus, with her feet up in the air and head downwards. The coaches had got off. They had no idea what was going on. We kind of went to get off one by one, realized that we're missing Amanda. Where was Amanda? Yeah, we recognized the feet up in the air. It was a real team effort to get her out behind that back seat. Then it was a real team effort trying to cover up Bertz's mess in Amal's front lawn with her car. All while just driving on the lawn, she says. About 2 days after all the snow had melted. Yeah, there were some tracks left that we fixed. Also, last weekend, no one can forget Heather's big birthday hug from Buff Bruce. Yes. And then, to finish off the whole weekend, our two mascot friends from Bloomfield, they had made our weekend a lot more enjoyable that last night when we were there. Something we'll never forget. But most of all, none of this past weekend could have ever happened without support from our fans. Our community, our teachers, our administrators, our students, our family and friends. And a special thanks to Mr. Musso. He all became really close to our heart. He was chanting Final Four in the pep rally. He was always there in the hall helping us out load to the bus and telling us, girls do a good job. And he was always the first one after the game patting us on the back. Oh, one last thing too. There's a big bash in Mr. Buttles. Once you see his pool cover off, just come right over. Mike Catherine has something to say.
Yeah.
Is everybody so short? Well, of course, my voice, so don't laugh if I mess up. This is a little poem for the Lady Cougars. Before the season had begun, the Lady Cougars were picked to be #1. This should have come as no surprise. They posted one of the best starting 5. For anyone to have watched, Haley, Ashley, Debbie, Amanda, and Miranda would have to come away with a feeling of awe. For coaches Landry and Bunham, it must have been a treat to have that feeling of we can't be beat. Through the regular season, they could without a loss, as they showed everyone just who was the boss. Now it is the sectionals and a first round bye. Then on Sable and Seton, the girls are all on a high. All goals have been reached. There's only one more, that elusive trip to the state Final Four. Now it's the Northeast Regionals at Potsdam, Axial, victory over Salmon River. Can the girls win it all? Winning it all, could this only be a dream? Anything is possible, especially with this team. Now it's Voorheesville from Section 2, a victory here, and what would we do? Well, we win the game with heart and desire. Now just who can put out the fire? Now we've done what no other team has done before. We made it to the Hudson Valley and the state Final Four. Dobbs Ferry is next. Can we play at this level? A stunning come from behind victory proves that there are more than capable. So now at Section 5, Bloomingfield, ranked state number 1, against our beloved Lady Cougars, all the way from Section 7. The game was a thrilling, who could ask for more? They proved to everyone they belong in the Final Four. For 3.5 quarters, we played as number 1, only to lose by 6 because of a 4-minute 6-2 run. So we're second in the state, and with that there is nothing wrong because they proved to everyone that they truly did belong. But looking back, the best thing of all was our young ladies winning the Sportsmanship Award just for having a ball.
Let's bring past some more last-minute words. That concludes our program for this evening. Thank you all for coming.